Welcome to Unscripted Wellness, the podcast where real conversations meet real movement. This is brought to you by Get Fit Meridian. We're here to explore fitness, whole health, and well-being without the fluff. No scripts, let's just be honest, practical, real conversations. Let's get started. What's up, guys? Hannah here. This is Unscripted Wellness. This is episode number 3, and we are interviewing a new person today, which I'm really excited to introduce all of you guys to, which is Dustin. Dustin, welcome to Unscripted Wellness podcast with Get Fit Meridian. Get Fit, as a whole, Dustin and I actually met at Get Fit Modesto back in my Modesto days. Dustin, why don't you kind of give us like an introduction, just overall about you, your family, how you got to Get Fit Modesto, and kind of take it away from here.
Yeah, so my name's Dustin Basden. I live in Modesto, California, my wife and my daughter. Like Hannah said, we met at Get Fit Modesto. My dad actually brought me into Get Fit about 5 or 6 years ago. I was a hater, honestly. I thought it was a chick gym, and my dad's like, dude, just try it out, give it a shot. And he used to train there, and then he brought me in, I tried it out, and I was like, all right, I can do this. And then I think within maybe a month, Rachel, our training director at the time, approached me, and I got in, trained there, did front desk, led some other programs, and then I worked at Get Fit for about 4 or 5 years, and then bounced over to Oakdale for a little bit, was doing Oakdale and Modesto, so kind of did all the things, been involved in a little bit of everything at Get Fit since day one pretty much.
That's awesome. The last couple episodes kind of shared my story with Get Fit and how I came about at Get Fit Modesto, where I started. And I talked about being a 4 a.m. trainer in the Zombies. And your dad was actually a part of the 4 a.m. crew.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the one to rally everybody. And he probably had the most energy out of everyone in that class. And there were so many mornings where after the 4 a.m. class, if, they didn't have to like jet out to work, we would go to the coffee shop down the street and just hang out. I do have to ask, what do you think, did your dad have to bribe you to come to your first class? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, he pretty much had to bribe me. He's like, hey, we'll go get raw, the sushi place in town that I love. He's like, hey, let's go work out. I'll buy raw after. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'll give it a shot.
Not after the 4 a.m. class, though.
No, I think we went to like a 8:45 or 10 a.m. mid-morning.
That's awesome. Yeah, your dad's great. And I remember he was walking through kind of a calf issue for a little while, and he like powered through all of that. I mean, he would still show up and modify and alternate any movements that he needed to still be there and be a part of it. And yeah, literally the best sense of humor too.
Yeah, he's a good one.
He's great. Yeah, and Dustin and I, during like the 2020 days where we were recording so many videos to put out to the community, he was like the ultimate cameraman. Why don't you share with everybody what was your like famous line when you were training one of the classes during the virtual classes, I should have said.
So Hannah always made fun of me because I would open up every single class with, what's up, guys? And then I would always tell myself I'm going to say something different because I'd hear Hannah making fun of me in my head. In every class, it almost like my brain would freeze and I would stop for a second and just revert back to what's up, guys, every single time. Pretty sure if you watch every single video that I trained during those video days, I 100% started with what's up, guys.
Well, what's funny is I catch myself doing it now. So I think because making fun of me for so many times, it's my staple, where it's like I don't know how to greet anybody any other way.
Yep.
Yeah, let's chat. I thought it'd be really fun. Today's episode is going to be more about running towards fitness when life gets hard and what does that look like, and really providing you guys with some good advice and tips and practical examples of even our stories of Get Fit and our fitness journey all together. But that's what the more topic we're going to talk about is running towards fitness when life gets hard, why you shouldn't put it on the back burner when honestly life hits, because it's going to, and it's going to at any point, and that's just life, and life is hard. But it's how you cope with it and deal with it that really matters. I thought it would be really fun to kind of talk through some like fun memories of Get Fit and kind of give we just like to have a great time no matter what, whether we're training or working out and we're having some type of events. It's just like we're always having a perspective of like, how can we make this more fun and exciting. And one of the memories I'll never forget, I want to say I was working out in the class. It was a 6 a.m. class, and this
Hmm.
was, I don't know, at this point, probably what, 5 years ago, maybe
Yep.
more. Uh, we're going to start off with some really good advice for you guys. So Dustin was training. He was leading the 6 a.m. class, and I don't know, there's probably like what, 50 plus people in
Hmm.
this class, and
Always packed.
um, always packed. And all of a sudden, like, it gets quiet in the room. I mean, he's like timing, he's like pumping everybody up, and all of a sudden, it's like, where did Dustin go?
So I didn't realize it at the time. It was a Friday. I always trained 5, 6, 7:30 on Fridays. That was my staple three classes. I trained 5 a.m. and I was like, stomach feels kind of weird. Whatever. Got to 6 a.m. Got to almost the halfway point in class, and my stomach turned on me, and I was like, I cannot get through this. So just mid class, not even at a break, I sent everyone out on a run. I was like, this cannot wait. Sent everyone out on a run. Luckily, John Crenshaw, the owner of Get Fit, was in the class. So on the mic, I just said, John Crenshaw to the back of the studio. He ran back. I handed it to him. I said, hey, I'm done. You have the rest of this class because I'm sick. And he hopped on and crushed it and did a great job. But there was definitely a little look in his eyes for a moment of like, are you serious? I'm like, John, I think I got food poisoning. I can't do this. So he took over, and yeah, that wasn't my proudest moment on the mic, but we got through it. We
Things
just
happen.
improvised, we adapted, and figured it out.
It was literally, I think I might have been coming in to train like the next morning class or something. I don't know. I don't think I was actually working out because I would have jumped on the mic and helped you too. But I just remember it was almost like a Costco or Target page where it's like, hey, John Crenshaw to the back of
Yep.
the building, let's go. Yeah, that's so funny. And I remember we talked a little bit about our 2020 adventure. The Diamond of Death is what we all called it, the Get Fit Modesto trainers at the time. And we recorded and we did live
Hmm.
workouts, just kind of survive and serve our community in that way because everyone wanted to be together and still get our workouts in. And so we did Zoom workouts. The Diamond of Death. There was like 4 pods. We did what, like, yeah, it was four or
Hmm.
five or four, 3 or 4. And so we had someone that was like progressing movements, someone that was doing the ones that were prescribed, and then modification or like body weight movement stuff. And Dustin, like, being Dustin, he would always like hold the mic or the camera because we
Hmm.
had a camera person, we had someone like operating the Zoom, and then we had someone obviously leading the class and then doing the workouts, and we all like kind of rotated and did our part, like morning, afternoon classes is what we did. I'm trying to like
Hmm.
think back. It was so long ago. And then Dustin, being Dustin, like you couldn't even take him seriously, like when you were like dying in the diamond of death, because it's like, yeah, there's no rest time. Like you are on, because it's just so different working out that type of way. And so anyone doing the actual workout, it was just like, it was pure grind for what, 20, 30 minutes. There was no rest time. You had to kind of like sneak to the side to like grab a quick drink of water. But anytime Dustin was the cameraman, he like, you just like, you had to keep a straight face like the whole time. And literally, once you show them how you were holding the camera,
Yeah.
he would
So
practice with the dumbbell. Like he would
yep.
legitimately practice with a dumbbell.
Gotta work out your arm. You get a nice little athletic stance here, and then you just walk around. You just creep
Chest
around like
tall.
this. You just walk around, make faces, try and make people laugh, try and break them. I will say doing
So
that gave
good.
me a new respect for people that record workouts online, and I even like the fitness videos where same thing. There's a trainer and there's people working out. I gained a new respect for that because there's no breaks on camera. You cannot rest, and I
Yeah.
always got. I could never be the modification person. I always got stuck leveling up, so I was always just trying not to shake too much on camera, doing all the hard stuff.
Like I promise I'm in shape. Promise I do this. Yeah, that
It was an
was
interesting time, and then where like the person on the that was working the Zoom is just sitting there watching everyone else work out, and then calling them out at home, and
yeah, it was such a rough time, but it was some of the best memories. And
mhm.
I think that was a positive that came out of it is just how well the team bonded together. and we got to just hang out, before and after class.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause we were pretty
good.
much in studio all day together, every
Yeah,
day. That's
yeah,
like the one
just,
thing we had going.
yeah. And we were so pumped just to help people in a different way. And yeah, we were willing to jump in and do whatever. I mean, we would do the diamond of death with like laundry detergent,
Hmm.
water bottle cases. I don't know, the most
Yep,
random stuff
we'd
people had
use
at home.
gym equipment and then try and figure out whatever else people had at home. So yeah, there's some workouts where we had water jugs. You know,
We made it work because we love our people so much. Yeah, dude, it's awesome. I love just kind of going down memory lane and just kind of like giving a good glimpse of us, honestly. We have a few questions for you, Dustin. Let's
yeah.
dive into how has Get Fit as a whole impacted your on not only physical health, but
Mhm.
your mental health, your emotional health. Why don't you share a little bit about your story? And because I know your dad encouraged you to get
Mhm.
there first class, you're like, I love this place. These people they're pretty cool.
You're all
I'll
right.
hang out here. They're all right. We kind of have a good time. So share like how has Get Fit impacted your life just as a good whole?
So rewinding a little bit, like I said, my dad brought me to Get Fit. When he brought me into Get Fit, that was just after I got a DUI, and that was maybe a week after he brought me in for my first class. And prior to that, I was brewing. I got my DUI, realized I needed to quit drinking, and so I quit brewing right then. Didn't know what else my life looked like after that, and so I was kind of sitting at home feeling sorry for myself. Wasn't working out. He brought me in to Get Fit that next week. Like I said, had to bribe me to get me down there. Um, and then as soon as I had stepped in the doors, started working out, I think Rachel was actually training that class, and seeing all the people come up to me, encouraging me, just saying hi, really motivated me to get back into it and kind of showed me what an actual community is and what community can do for you. So that was, like I said, within a week of my DUI, I joined up, got going, and then like a month later, Rachel approached me about training, started training. I think I was the first person that did our new training process, worked out all the
Hmm.
kinks with Rachel. Um,
Yeah.
did that, worked front desk, and yeah, kind of dove all in on anything that was thrown my way. But I would say for me, the biggest thing with Get Fit, how it's changed my perspective of mental, physical health, is that everything's connected. You can't ignore anything because if you ignore one aspect, it's going to affect everything else. So you gotta keep constantly checking in on every aspect of well-being, and community through the gym is a great place to do that.
Yeah, and I remember like your first like few classes, honestly, and I think you had, if I remember correctly, you had a couple broken ribs,
Hmm.
and I was like, why is this guy doing this? And because obviously, like you're very strong, and then that's when you felt comfortable to share your story with me during that, and but I mean, just showing up during that physical pain just shows like you're craving those relationships and in that support and encouragement,
Hmm.
through the start of that really rough time in your life. Um, Kind of, if you've listened to Jesse Clark, he's one of our trainers here at Get Fit Meridian. Let's kind of dive into like how kind of like that connection was about. So Jesse Clark also has his own podcast, which is Forging Wellness, which is great. I mean, he really does a great job at supporting all first responders, but then also fitness and health as a whole. And he interviews so many different people. And he was able to interview Dustin, a couple of weeks ago,
Hmm.
and there was no like correlation. We didn't even know that you guys already had one planned. We were planning one. Jess and I will do one in a couple weeks, and it was just like really great timing. And I know you shared your story into a little bit more depth on his podcast, and it was really awesome to listen to. And I know it encouraged so many people in our community. But kind of going into just Dustin's support in Get Fit as a whole has been so awesome just to watch and witness, and sometimes just like kind of be in the background of like watching things kind of play out has been really inspiring to me personally. And it was probably what, maybe October, maybe November
Hmm.
ish this past year, 2024. Dustin randomly texts me and he was like, hey, I've been listening to this podcast, which was Forging Wellness. This is Jesse's podcast. And he's like, I think this would be a great connection for Get Fit Meridian and the first responder community. And I was like, cool. Like, I'll text him. And the goal was like, hey, let's just meet. Let's talk how we can like partner together and collab, and how can I, as Get Fit Meridian, support, the first responders and what you're doing with Forging Wellness. And so we met for a little bit, and then I was thinking, like, he shared how he used to, train, and we were in need of trainers, and I was like, hey, like, would you be interested in training this community here? I know your schedule is, very packed, and we're willing to work with it. And so he was like, yeah, like, let's do it. And so we started the process, the same training process that Dustin went through back in like November, December, and Jesse started training with us officially in January. And so, just those really like so like bizarre almost connections and how things play out and work out, of you just, you're always looking for the good of the community and how, ways that you can support it. And it was a simple text of sharing his podcast, and now he's like, impactful in our community, and it's just really awesome to see. So if you guys get that opportunity to check out that podcast between Dustin and Jesse, it's a good one for sure. No, I love that. The other question is, coming to your first class, you shared with me, kind of being a little bit hesitant of like, hey, maybe this is a women's gym, which
Mm-hmm.
is kind of a common assumption from guys, especially, obviously. Why don't you share, like, what advice would you give to someone that may be feeling nervous, or maybe feeling that same way of like, I'm kind of interested in going to my first class, but I kind of have these thoughts in my head of like what it is. What advice would you give to them of just taking that initial like first step, first leap of faith, really, to come to their first class and experience it?
Yeah, I would say the big thing is, like anything we kind of preach at Get Fit, is lean into it. Get in the doors, talk to people, let them know where you're at. We're very welcome, accommodating. Everyone that's coming in is at a different place in life. Whether you're someone who's coming from another gym looking for a fresh start, someone who's never worked out before, someone who's coming back from an injury, we're all about meeting you where you're at and making sure that you're getting what you need within the structure of how we operate. So just lean into it and be open and communicate. Meet your trainers, start talking to other clients. Clients love helping out each other, welcoming you. Um, just dig in, just give it your all. Give it a couple classes. That first week, you're probably going to be pretty sore. I think we all remember our first week. You're
Yeah.
waking up the next morning like, I'm really supposed to go work out. I am dead everywhere. And then it gets better, but just dig into it.
Yeah, that first, like, the next warm up that you come to, like your second class,
First leg day
is
is rough.
yeah, yeah. And we've noticed a good common theme of people's first class with us is typically a leg day. And it's just been the average the last, like, I'd say like 4 or 5 months, and it's just kind of comical at this point. But it's like, man, this hurts so good, but I just love it.
Hmm.
But it does, yeah. And honestly, like the first couple weeks, like you're gonna feel, yes, that soreness, but then after the couple weeks go by, you're gonna notice such a different feeling of your endurance and your strength, just in that short, window of time. It's so true. And even being super sore, sometimes it's better to move, even if you go light or body weight. That is we encourage that highly. Let's dive into running towards fitness when life gets hard. I know I shared my story on how I came about with Get Fit. I ran to fitness because I was really dealing with the grief of losing my dad. And January will mark 10 years, which is, being with Get Fit for about a decade, is really awesome to just kind of like reminisce on, and always remembering like where you came from. Being postpartum 5 months with my second daughter, it was just, I was more concerned with my mental and emotional health than I was physical. Because like growing up in sports, like you kind of, how to like move well and do things. And I was just at such a low point in my life. And, I just love that everyone has a different story when you come to Get Fit. And like, this, the 50 minutes that they're in here on a daily basis is an opportunity for us to turn around that day for them, and encourage them and enlighten them, and just kind of just be that light that they need. So opening up the conversation, when life is feeling overwhelming, what's your first like instinct like to lean into it? Like, has that shifted over time for you? Do you find yourself maybe I don't know, like running towards like other things as well, like whole health? Because I know your job is super stressful. You and Shelby are, navigating all the shift work and tag teaming with sleeping and Daphne and just literally everything in between. So why don't you share like if that has kind of shifted over time and like how has that shifted and what have you done to lean in towards fitness?
I would say that initially my instinct when things got hard in fitness were to retreat from it and just be like, well, that's an hour of my day I won't get back, that I have so many other things going on that, I need that hour for other things. But over time, going through my DUI, getting sober, um, fatherhood, new job, everything has really taught me to lean in. And because even if it's only, our classes are 50 minutes, that's 50 minutes of my day that I can control. And if I can't control anything else in my life, everything else is chaos. That's at least something I can hold on to every day that I can control. And whether I'm going there for the community aspect to go and just talk to other people, or going to use it as just an escape, just 50 minutes where I get out of my head, listen to the trainer, work out, or I'm going in there to, really grind down and work through some things mentally. That's 50 minutes that is very important to me now, that I won't give up no matter what I'm going through.
Do you find yourself after the 50 minutes, like let's say you're having kind of a rough day, or maybe it was like a really rough emotional night at work, maybe the day or days prior to your workout, do you find yourself like how do you feel after class? Do you find yourself maybe a more patient dad,
Hmm.
patient husband? Kind of like, I don't know, share with us like how that impacts that aspect like of the mental and emotional toll that your current job takes on you.
I feel like especially with my job now, it's a good reset for me. If I go if I'm going straight from work to the gym before I go home, no matter what I dealt with at work, it's a good buffer for me to go and either, if like you said, if I had a hard day, work through some stuff, or if I'm just tired, get it out of the way so then I can go home and my focus is 100% on, Shelby and Daphne or whatever needs to get done around the house, whatever errands we have to run. Um, but mentally, I always feel so much better, either if it's because I got it out of the way and now I can get on with the rest of my day, or if I had some things that, I was fighting with internally, some time to either just escape from it and have a little break, or you know work through it, with some heavy squats or chest press or whatever. It's always good to work through some things with some weights.
It's always a chest press,
Always
but it
chest
makes
press.
everything better. Can you share some advice as a dad to a toddler, especially? They're very busy, they're always on the go. We're officially out of the toddler stage,
Lucky.
which is, yeah, it's a weird concept, but I did do it 3 times.
Yeah, we're full force toddler right now.
Yeah,
Full swell.
they're so fun. They're so like just full of life and spontaneous and but it can definitely be tiring, especially if their sleep is not always on point. So what advice would you give to, I mean, even dads and moms of like how do you keep your nutrition and your fitness a priority when you are so busy? Like what type of like routine kind of share with us like just what you would advise someone to do.
For one, it's tough, and know that everyone has been in that situation before or will be in that situation eventually, so you're not alone. It's easy to, when the toddler's crazy and you have a million other things you have to do with your day, to feel isolated and alone. But making sure to prioritize yourself, because if you're not your best self, you can't be best husband, best wife, best dad, best mom that you can be. And so just make sure to prioritize that, whether that's 20 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour, whether that's nap time, or they're old enough to drop off in childcare, they go to preschool, they have whatever where you can get a little break. And for myself, having a routine with trying to set a routine with it was tough. So I just kind of have every day as an open book, and wherever I can find the time to fit it in, and know that 20 minutes is better than nothing. You might be used to a 50-minute workout every single day, getting after it, but for a season, maybe 20 minutes is all you're going to get every day, and just knowing that that's okay. It's not a bad thing that you're not getting an hour. Just prioritize whatever time you can get to make sure that you're getting that, alone time and time in your head where you can just work out and prioritize yourself and your well-being, because that's important. They'll see that growing up, and they see their parents prioritizing that as something that they'll grow up not even having to learn on their own. They'll just see mom and dad doing that, and that'll be part of their routine getting up.
Yeah. Do you, I know sometimes you probably work out in your garage when you can't make it into the studio. Do you find Daphne going in there and following after you and trying to like mimic the movements that you're doing and
Oh
stuff?
yeah, yeah. Now,
That's
especially
the
as she's getting
best.
older, nap times are hit or miss. So if she's not napping, I'll just bring her in the garage with me, and she's always asking what I'm doing, or if I'm doing squats, I'll make her squat next to me, or if we're doing push-ups, she just pretty much lays on the ground. But she's doing what Dad's doing, and she's
That's
enjoying it.
awesome. Yeah. If you're not napping, you're chest pressing.
And we definitely do lots of sprints when nap time doesn't seem like it's happening. Sprints
Because then it
are,
will happen,
yeah,
right?
exactly. We get our sprints in the backyard in, and then nap time will happen.
That's so great. Yeah, I know it's the best like watching them, even like wanting to like impress you as a
Hmm.
parent, like, hey, mom, like check out my squats, or my girls are very into burpees right now, not so much my oldest, but my youngest and middle. They I don't know, when they like become overjoyed of something, they just wanna they just want to go full speed ahead. Like maybe 20 burpees back to back in 60 seconds. They're not the best burpees, but
That's
they
awesome.
are the cutest. Um, let's talk about like community support. So we talked about, leaning into fitness when life hits, and you and I both have unique stories, and kind of like how is being a part of a community helped you like during like personal storms, like just kind of share maybe some like practical examples that you experienced last like 5 6 years that you've been at Get Fit. How has the community really built you up? Because it is fun in class. I mean,
Mm.
you're chatting during the 50 minutes. You're having that camaraderie. You're giving high fives. You're saying, "Hey, what's up? How's it going?" to people maybe you haven't seen in a while. But like on the outside of those 50 minutes, like how has community been a support to you, especially the Get Fit community?
I think that, I mean, we all see that after class, after those 50 minutes, a lot of people don't leave right away. They stay and they hang out and they talk, and that's when those life conversations happen. Like, yeah, we're talking about stuff that happened in studio, the workout, um, the day before, the one we just did, but that's when a lot of those life conversations happen. And just like I talked with Jesse on his podcast, if you're going through things, it's easy to isolate and be the only voice in your head. And when you're the only voice in your head that you hear, it's easy to beat yourself up and make issues, not that they're not a big deal, but inflate them to, the size that is very overwhelming. So when you get out and you actually talk to people, even just putting things into words, getting it out of your head can take a lot of power away from it. Or you're talking to people that have been through a similar situation. We don't, you don't know what anyone else has been through. We all come to the gym, and for the most part, we're happy to be there, ready to work out, ready to see our friends. But you don't really know what other people have been through until you talk to them. And so, maybe you find someone who's had a similar situation, or someone who's went through something that's so much more progressed than where you're at right now, and it can help you really put things in perspective and either realize, hey, I can do this. Like, this isn't, as big a deal as I've made it seem in my head, or hear someone who's been through it and you realize, like, hey, this person could be a good support and someone to talk to and help me through this, guide me through it. Um, I could not have made the changes I made without my community. I think we're made to talk to other people, and we're not made to isolate. So find your community and really dig in and get involved in whatever aspect you can.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, even if like you don't necessarily go through the exact same thing that someone has gone through, you can take aspects of that and relate to it in different ways. And I mean, honestly, like a part of it too is being vulnerable. And I mean, you don't have to share like everything with everybody, but just recognizing like no one's life is perfect. I mean, everyone goes through hard times, and those hard times like don't always go away. There's times where like they'll creep up and try to tear you down. And when life is getting hard and there's hard times like that are going to be approaching in the future, and kind of like anticipating that, but like getting the tools and remembering, kind of what we shared in the beginning of like remembering like where you came from and like why are you doing the things that you're doing, especially on the day-to-day basis. I mean, even like, you working long hours and times where I'm sure you just don't get sleep and that's way out of your control. And I mean, even recognizing like I'm dog tired, but I'm still gonna like show up and I'm gonna, be the best parent and the best husband that I can be to my family, and taking care of yourself. Because when you put yourself on the back burner and you don't take care of yourself, then everything kind of falls apart, truthfully. I mean, it's a domino effect. If you're not taking care of your physical health, it's going to affect your emotional health. Then you're not taking care of that, it's going to affect your mental health. And it's like, it's just cycle. And if we can take that time out of the day just to move our body, and you mentioned like even if going, doing a 20-minute workout or like going for a walk, that is such a positive thing. And I think where society maybe lacks is having that mindset of being all or nothing, giving 110% or 0%, and finding that balance. It's hard. And I think maybe that might be like a struggle or something that like a mental mind block for us at times where like, well, it's not good enough, it's not enough time. And but like we're here to say like that is more than okay. I mean, we have so many options, like even on like our YouTube channel there are so many different workouts that you can do. Meridian has the Beyond the Whiteboard app to where maybe you even do like all of our studio workouts are in there on a daily basis. But even if you do like half of the workout, or do it body weight, like you're still progressing and you're working in your health. Is so positive. What role do you feel like accountability from others have played in your life when life has been heavy or is heavy?
I think that, especially when it comes to fitness, it has definitely kept me in the studio or working out more times than not. It's easy, you find your group in the studio. I was always 5 a.m. class, front left. That was my people.
Front and left. It's always station one.
Front left, station one. That was my group, and it's easy. You get your little group text within the gym, and you miss a day, and hey, where you at? Where you going? You miss a couple days, and you get a couple phone calls, and so finding that group, finding your community is great to help keep you on track, because there are times where life gets so overwhelming that you just don't want to do it. But when you have people who are, one, welcoming and supportive, but two, also aren't afraid to say, hey, where you at? Let's get back in here. It's time to get going. That can help out in so many different areas that are beyond just fitness.
Yeah. And one of our favorite things over here, like we'll text people if we haven't seen them in the week, or, checking in on them like, hey, like, where are you? And the
Mm.
best thing is they're like, hey, I've been on vacation.
Yep.
And it's like, well, we miss you, like have a great time. But yeah, it's, recognizing when people aren't there. And it's easy to kind of get in a rut sometimes where one day goes on, you're like, okay, I'm going to make it tomorrow. And then the next goes on, and it's like, you're not there. But, the people in the community, the team in the community, like we want you here. We want you a part of it. And, yeah, it works out so great. Um, how has your relationship with fitness deepened because of your hard times?
I would say that it has shown me the importance of it. I went through hard times prior without fitness, and knowing what I know now, that was probably the worst decision I could have made, is to shy away from the fitness. Um, Whether it's the community or just the ability to get in there, and we go through some hard workouts and grind through a hard workout and put yourself on the edge where you don't think you can go a little more, and then Hannah's yelling at you to give you a couple more reps, and you dig out a couple more reps, and you realize, hey, I have more than I thought I did. That can help out in all areas of life, not just fitness. So I would say that going through the hard times is time and time again just showing me the importance of fitness, and how it's something that now I'll never give up. And I'll tell Daphne the same thing, that you always got to stay on top of it and take care of yourself, whatever that looks like, whether that's yoga, whether that's running, lifting, get fit, however she chooses to, take care of herself. That is number one priority.
Yeah. Do you find yourself like I'm thinking of like marathon runners, like half marathon runners, most often when they are like about to complete the run or they just completed the run, it's an emotional thing for them. Do you
Mm-hmm.
feel that way sometimes? I know you're a dude, but do you feel that way sometimes like while you're working out? Do you find like that same type of like adrenaline high
Mm-hmm.
that you once had when you were you were still an athlete, but playing baseball and stuff. Do you still get that same emotional connection in workouts?
100%. I wouldn't say it's not every single workout that happens, but I find it happens more often if I'm fighting with some things mentally or I have other things going on in life. I get
Mm.
in and I bust out a super hard workout and I'm near the tail end of it. You still get that. It's not a runner's high, it's a workout high, whatever it is. 100%.
Yeah.
I recognize it more when I have other things going on in life that are dragging me down, I'm fumbling with. Um, Being able to get in and work out definitely can boost those chemicals inside and get you back on the right track.
Yeah. What's your personal reminder to you like when things get hard and when you want to quit? Like what's your like go-to that you tell yourself? Because I mean even coaching other people, like you typically have to coach yourself
Mm-hmm.
through things, and whether that's like a conversation within yourself on the drive to wherever, what's your like go-to inspiration?
So for me, kind of going through what I went through, being depressed, lost, no direction in life for a little bit, is just reminding myself that, hey, me 5, 6 years ago would absolutely kill to be in the place I'm at now and
Hmm.
would hate for me to be down and, lost and not prioritizing myself again. So just reminding myself, like, hey, where I've been is, somewhere I don't ever want to be again, and I got to keep going in the right direction. So, and if I don't, it's easy to end up right back there. So, just kind of reminding myself where I've been and the track that I'm on now, where I want to go.
Yeah, and like having that sense of like ownership and being proud in a positive way of all the hard work that you've put in for so many years to be who you are today. And it's been awesome, like with just watching you develop, and even you and Shelby meeting at Get
Mm-hmm.
Fit, that was just so fun. And yeah, it's just like it's incredible to see where you guys are at. And the most rewarding thing is all of the hard work and the grind and the hours that oftentimes like people don't even see. It's really inspiring to me, and I hope this inspires all of the listeners out there, to where when you're going through some heavy things, like you can turn it around. Like you have that ability, and to have that new perspective of, okay, my situation sucks. I can either like sit here and be in it, or I can make the decision and start taking those small steps to changing my life. And that is small steps. I mean, that's small steps of just, working out. And again, it doesn't always have to be for physical goals. That can be to help, alleviate your anxiety that you could be feeling. It could help alleviate like your depression, like you were saying. It could help you cope with grief. It's such a positive thing. And I think a lot of, um, mindset out there in the world is that like, oh, you have to work out to PR, or you have to work out to lose X amount of pounds. And it's just like, man, like no. Like those things are cool and they're great and we support it, but there's just so much more to that. If you could describe Get Fit in 3 words besides community fitness and nutrition,
Well, that's what I was going to say.
what would they be? I mean, community is a given. I mean, friendships, relationships, it's just the best part of it, truthfully. But yeah, if you can describe it in 3 words, I know that's probably so hard because there's so many words like you want to share and say. So if it's more than three,
All right.
we'll take
So,
it.
first off, we'll count this as one word, but functional fitness. And when we say functional fitness, we mean fitness that can benefit you in every aspect of life. So, yes, we're in the gym. We're doing shoulder press, we're doing deadlifts, we're doing squats. But then you translate that to real life. Doing a deadlift. picking a grandbaby up off the floor, picking something off the ground, doing a shoulder press, putting something up on top of a shelf. And those are things that might seem trivial or small, but for some people, those are big steps that they can't do or hurts them now, but they get in the gym and they can change um, through doing these movements and can benefit their life. So I'd say functional fitness. I'd say family. Pretty much same thing as community, but you really get in there and you find your family, you find your group that can, like we've talked about the whole episode, wrap their arms around you, help you through the tough times, be the best support system, biggest cheerleaders in your best times.
Yeah.
Dang, Hannah, they put me on the spot here.
I'm doing better at asking great questions.
Doing great.
Yeah, no, family, that's huge because I mean, even like community aspects, like we want to develop those good relationships where people are hanging out outside of Get Fit, like meeting each other for coffee, meeting each other for a walk. It's been awesome to see, and that's what we've been like hoping for and praying for here at Get Fit Meridian. This is a year and a half for us, month of June, and it's like it's been those relationships has been progressing, and it takes time, to get to know each other and build that camaraderie with each other. It just doesn't happen in one class. It happens gradually, and it's been awesome to see. And you know even getting to know everybody and seeing them on the daily basis, it's you recognize when maybe they're not necessarily like on, where maybe they're not pushing as hard as they normally do, or they just feel kind of like down, where it's like we're such a tight knit community. We recognize those things, and we were like, hey, like, are you doing okay? Like, do you need anything? And it's just sometimes like that's all you need to say, and then the person like breaks down, and they lose it, and they share some like really hard hitting things that they're walking through, and just recognizing like you're seen, you're loved here, whether you've been here. I mean, we've been open a year and a half, but whether you've been with us since like day one, whether you started last week or last month, like you are a part of this. Like, we, it's for everybody, and not having like clicks and like, oh, this group's better than that. Like, no, like we're all in this together, as cheesy as that sounds. um it's just it's a beautiful thing that is so hard almost to describe,
Mm-hmm.
and when you try to describe it, then you feel like you can just go blue in the face because you're like, but you just need to experience it.
Yeah.
And um yeah, I love that. I mean, even there's been so many times where like the team collectively like has done something for someone in our community, and they're like, what the heck, like a gym is doing that. And it's like, it's so much more. It is so much more than fitness. It is so much more than just giving like nutrition advice and like whatever that fill in the blank is. It's no, like we take care of each other. Like, you're down, like the family's down, like we're gonna uplift you, like we're gonna pick you up through whatever it is, and like we're not gonna judge you through it, like we're gonna love you through all of it, we're gonna pray through all of it with you. And so I love that word, even though like it does correspond with community, but again, that's who we are, that's what
Well, and
we
like I
that's
think
why
we
we
learned,
exist.
especially in Modesto through COVID, like Get Fit is so much more than just four walls. Like
Hmm.
when COVID hit and we had to shut down, our first thought was, all right, well, how can we still serve our community? We did video workouts, we did outside
Yeah.
workouts, we had our Get Fit Outdoors program, and it doesn't have to be in the studio to get your community. Community is everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you'd call it movement, lifestyle, whatever it is, but Get Fit is so much more than two words, or so much more than four walls, or even just the trainers. Get Fit is so much more than any one person.
Hmm. Yeah. I think another good word, if you didn't think of one, I automatically think of humble. I think the fitness world, and again, like we'll be the first to admit, like we don't always get it right, and we'll always own up to like what mistakes that we make, and we'll fix it and move on from it. But one word that really always sticks out to me is humble. When I think of Get Fit, I think even from the top to trainers, it's we're here to serve. We're not here for self of like, just how like the fitness society and environment can be sometimes. And I think that leaks out into the community too, where it's like, humble yourself, every day. And I also leak into that as far as like even like learning, like if you don't know something, you don't know something. And so being willing to be receptive and be coachable and learn from other people, whatever that is. Like maybe you don't know something in nutrition or training or working out. Maybe there's like a brand new move and you're like, I've never done this in my life. And you feel like, man, I've been here for how many years? Like, and you know, it's like, no, like it's cool. Like let's learn
Hmm.
from this.
Yeah.
Um, no, yeah, it's just, it's so special. It's so different. I mean, I even remember not even just like the COVID days, but like, I mean, I guess it was during it, when we had to go outside when people can kind of like be together, we would do parking lot workouts where like we would have the mats out. We would literally bring out all of the equipment and we did like the normal, I think we did like kind of somewhat normal schedule at like
Hmm.
5 a.m., 6 a.m. We would roll up at like 4 a.m. to get the speakers out, bikes, dumbbells, like whatever. It was just pure chaos, but it was like great chaos because everyone showed up. Like it
Yep.
was still like a normal class. But I mean, even like the dead of summer in Modesto, it was so hot. And that's when we had like so many California fires.
Hmm.
I mean, I remember there was like ash everywhere and
Yep.
people were still just out there like, yeah, just chest
Twilight
pressing
Zone
and
up
doing the
there.
things. Yeah, it's like they didn't care. They just wanted to be there. Like they wanted to be together. And it's crazy because those days, I like joke about it now, but I feel like they trained us
Hmm.
to open Get Fit Meridian because, like you said, you don't need a building to do those things. And I like it just, it made me appreciate everything so much in our process of getting open and how slow it was and delayed it was. It was all for a purpose and a reason, but we can still develop those relationships without the beautiful walls. You can still
100%.
get together, you can still develop those friendships and have fun together. And it's like the building doesn't make this place, the people do. And I mean, we did parking lot workouts before our doors opened, and I mean, it was just framed up. And I remember always being like so nervous. People would come to like the next outdoor workout that we did on the side of the building. And it's like, oh, the sheet rock's not up yet. And it's like, I'm sorry. Like, if I knew how to do it, I would do
Yep.
it. But yeah, and then now like we can joke about it and have fun with it, and it's just like it gives you a whole different level of appreciation for things. And you know, when you do go through hard times, you also have, would you say like you have a better perspective on people on like why they do the things that they do, or maybe why they don't do the things that they do? Do you agree with that, or?
I feel like going through hard times has made me more empathetic because everyone comes into the gym with a smile for the most part, a brave face. No one likes to show that they're hurting, they're down,
Yeah,
they're sad. So going through those things and knowing that, hey, I did the same thing. I didn't, on the exterior, I didn't try and show that, I was going through anything,
yeah,
but really makes me empathetic and more open to just ask those questions. Hey, how you doing? Because maybe that's all someone needs, just to really talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to come out and say it right away. But all it takes
yeah.
is you asking, "Hey, you doing all right? How's it going?" For them to really open up and start a connection. And either they just want to talk and vent, or they're looking for some help. And we like to help people however we can.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes people need that permission, to open up.
Yep.
Like maybe they like deep down inside, like they want to, they don't know how to, or like they don't want to put like people out. But it's like asking that one simple question opens the door to so much
Hmm.
and so much, help and connection. And yeah, I just remember like the build out here, like just anticipating and longing for those conversations. Like if you could only be a fly on, what's that saying? Like a fly on the
Fly on the
wall.
wall.
Yeah, fly on the wall. It's like it's so true though. I mean, even this morning having a really in-depth conversation with one of our members, and it's like, man, you're going through it. But you're showing up here for your kids and you're showing up for you. And it's just like, I mean, I'm getting chills talking about it. I mean, even like relating things to an athlete, like I'm a full believer that everyone's an athlete
Hmm.
of some sort, whether you played sports or you didn't, like you are an athlete. And it's like you can keep pushing, you can keep going, even when like you're about to break or you're about to, I don't know, just like give up, really. And just seeing people progress through that, it's just, man, it's incredible. It never gets old. Yeah, it's awesome. What do you feel like? Let's get into some like fun questions. What is your top? lower body movement, what would be your number one?
I mean, it's hard to beat heavy squats, heavy barbell
See, I'm a
squats,
heavy deadlift. That would be mine.
heavy barbell squats, heavy barbell front squats. Yeah, I'm a squat guy. I like squats.
Okay, I'll go deadlift.
Okay.
It's the best. Okay, upper body. What is your favorite? Let's go back and biceps. What's your favorite?
Back and biceps, pull-ups and chin-ups. Easy.
Pull-ups and chin-ups. Maybe some muscle ups in there.
Maybe a
Like the
couple
good old
muscle ups in
days.
there.
With your long hair,
Yeah. Oh,
especially.
long hair. That's the only way you can do it. You're more aerodynamic, actually.
Yeah, I think it helps like get you up there.
Yep.
Maybe I should try it. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yep. There you go.
Okay, this is probably I can probably guess this. I'm gonna assume chest press is one of your faves.
Yeah. If we take out chest press, I like dumbbell snatches.
Yeah. I know they're still my favorite, and I like everyone's like, why is there so many snatches? But it's like I like to share that story because I don't know if you remember, but obviously I played soccer my whole life, so
Mhm.
my knees like there's a little wear and tear going on. But it was 3 months after I had Blakely, so she's 7, so like 7 years ago, we'll
Mhm.
go with that. I came out of a back squat too quick, and then my knee just like you heard it. And I was in such denial. It was literally in the middle of class. It was nothing no one did. It was just like it was bound to happen at any
Yep.
given moment. It happened to be that moment. And I remember getting out of the squat and I was like, "Oh no." And then I went outside and literally started doing walking lunges. And I was like, "No, this can't be." I did not get injured. Like literally such denial. And yeah, being what, 3 months postpartum from a C-section, I was like, no, like I just got back in my groove. And then this is real crazy. This is really behind the scenes. That night, I went and played indoor soccer on my knee, and turns out it was a small meniscus and ACL tear. I didn't get surgery for it, so
Mhm.
it wasn't like as dramatic as it sounds. But I had to like rehab it. I'm like, I have to train still. I mean, like demoing through that.
Yeah.
It was hard, especially still recovering from the C-section. But that's where my love grew for dumbbell snatches because I was also in the season of like running and training for like half marathons, and we had Run Fit at the time, and I was all apart that, but I was like, how am I supposed to get like some good cardio? I don't know if we had skiers during that time. I don't think we did just yet because it was a while ago, but yeah, I would just dumbbell snatch in the corner and see how heavy I could go to get my heart rate up and still have that same adrenaline rush
Mhm.
from running. So I agree with you. The dumbbell snatches live on.
Yep. Well, and with the snatches too, it's funny. I do not like burpees. I'm not a burpee guy, but like a good devil's press, love it.
Yeah,
And it's a burpee and a
totally.
snatch, but in my head, it's not a burpee.
Yeah,
Completely different.
no, it's a drop to the floor
Yep.
into a snatch.
Exactly. Not a burpee.
No, what do you feel like is like your favorite core base movement?
I like runners crunches, or a good weighted plank.
Weighted plank,
I like a weighted plank.
sandbag, or a plate?
Sandbag,
Yeah,
100%.
kind of not doesn't hurt as bad.
Yeah,
It's easier for someone to plop it on, especially when they're singing happy birthday really loud.
exactly.
No, that's awesome. Dustin, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it so much. And like we said, like check out the other podcast between Dustin and Jesse on Forging Wellness. You'll get a really good aspect of Dustin's story and how, he came about and became a firefighter and got through some really, really tough times. And you're a wealth of like just knowledge of fitness and life. And it's been so cool to watch you and Shelby just shine and just develop as people and develop together and becoming parents. And it's awesome to see. And yeah.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me on.
That's a wrap. This episode of Unscripted Wellness. We hope you find something to inspire your movement and mindset. If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to subscribe, share, and connect with us at Get Fit Meridian. Remember, wellness isn't about perfection. It's about showing up for yourself every single day. Until next time, keep moving.